आपके इंग्लिश की प्रिपरेशन इनकम्प्लीट है इफ यू डू नॉट नो द मेजर थीम्स ऑफ ऑल द चैप्टर। तो अगर आप भी लॉस्ट स्प्रिंग कवर कर चुके हैं and if you do not know the major themes, then do not wait. Let us start with the video. Welcome back to Fit the Lit, where we fit literature to its rightful standards. And today's session is a part of the series that I have named Dhurandhar. क्यों? क्योंकि हम लोग कवर कर रहे हैं हर एक चैप्टर इन जस्ट 15 minutes. Yes, you heard me right. We are covering the summaries and the mind map along with some ultra pro tip of each chapter in 15 minutes. But today's session is all about themes. हम लोग कवर करेंगे लॉस्ट स्प्रिंग के 5 मेजर थीम्स जहां से कि सीबीएसई क्वेश्चन बार बार क्वेश्चन पूछता है. So without any further delay, like that lightning bolt of thunder, let us start. Theme 1, definitely the chapter is titled as Lost Springs, of course. Theme 1 क्या होगा हमारा? Poverty leading to lost childhood. Why is the chapter entitled Lost Spring? How childhood is stolen in the chapter? What does the author show about the lives of poor children? तो चाहे क्वेश्चन तीनों में से कोई भी आए, what is the theme? कि poverty is leading to loss of childhood or childhood that is lost, right? So theme हमारा सेम ही रहेगा, क्वेश्चन हमारे डिफरेंट हो सकते हैं. If you consider this question, why is the chapter titled Lost Spring? You need to talk about what? Child labor, right? अब चाहे हमारा second question हो, second question क्या है? How is childhood stolen in the chapter? Again, due to child labor. Then, what does the author show about the lives of poor children? That they are involved in child labor and their childhood is lost. So, are you able to understand my point? कि theme हमारा same ही है. क्वेश्चन चाहे जितने मर्जी क्या बना लो, थीम तो हमें वही है, राइट? थीम हमें सेम ही डील करना है, तो ऑफ कोर्स हमें आंसर पॉइंट्स सेम ही लिखने हैं सब में. सो व्हाट आर द आंसर पॉइंट्स इफ यू गेट दिस थीम? चाहे वो 2 मार्कर आ जाए, चाहे वो 5 मार्कर आ जाए, ये आंसर पॉइंट्स आपको इंक्लूड करने ही करने हैं. व्हाट आर दोस पॉइंटर्स? चिल्ड्रन आर फोर्स्ड इनटू वर्क इंस्टेड ऑफ गोइंग टू स्कूल. ऑफ कोर्स चाइल्ड लेबर है ना. ड्यू टू द कंडीशन, ड्यू टू द पुअर कंडीशन ऑफ द फैमिलीज, the children are forced to go to work instead of school. Poverty makes dreams impossible. They are so poor that people are not even, the children are not even able to dream. जैसे कि हमने मुकेश के केस में देखा था. Although मुकेश has a dream, but what about the other members of his community? वो तो बिल्कुल ड्रीम नहीं कर रहे हैं, right? So that kind of thing is there. Childhood becomes a burden, not joy. So we have seen Sahib working to the end of the chapter, है ना. At the end of the chapter we have seen Sahib working. तो वो क्या है कि childhood has become a burden, not joy. Spring symbolizes youth, hope, but it is lost. So as I said, the title of the chapter is Lost Spring. So spring here means childhood, but the childhood is entirely lost because of the economic condition, because of the economic condition of the families. Okay, so these are the answer points that you need to include if you get theme 1 as your question, right? Theme number 2, Sahib's dreams versus reality. Now Sahib dreams of going to school, he knows the value of education, okay, but what is his reality? In reality he is supposed to earn money, supposed to earn a livelihood so that he can survive. So what are the types of questions that you can see? Who is Sahib Alam? What does his name symbolize? Why does Sahib say he likes garbage? What changes when Sahib starts working at the tea stall? Right? So when he starts working at the tea stall, he has accepted his reality. Why does Sahib say that he likes garbage? Because he is free. There is freedom in picking garbage, in doing that rag picking, right? There is freedom. Who is Sahib Alam? What does his name symbolize? So we know that Sahib Alam is, again, Sahib Alam means Lord of the Universe. But what is the reality of Sahib's life? That he does not own anything. So what are the answer points that you need to include for theme 2? थीम 2 अगर आएगा तो हमें कैसे आंसर पॉइंट्स लिखने हैं? These are the answer points. That Sahib is a refugee child forced into rag picking, right? He is a refugee child. That means he has come from he has come from Bangladesh, Dhaka, right? Forced into rag picking. Garbage is his gold, survival, food, and coins. So we know that the garbage has become a symbol of wonder, has become a symbol of gold, has become a symbol of mystery for the rag picking children. Tea stall job gives money but takes away freedom. That is the reality. Now we come to the reality part, right? Carrying a steel canister is a symbol of slavery or poverty. Why a symbol of slavery? Because he has to now follow all the orders of his master or the tea stall owner. That is why slavery. Slavery not in that sense. वैसे तो slavery is abolished, right? His dreams, school and shoes remains unfulfilled. So his dreams remain unfulfilled. As we have seen, what is the major theme? Sahib's dreams versus reality. So the dreams remain unfulfilled and he accepts the reality. He accepts the reality by accepting the job. Chalo, let us move forward to theme number 3. See, these themes and answer points are going to help you in answer writing. Let it be the 2 markers or the 5 markers in your examination. ये themes ऐसे important themes है law spring में, in the chapter law spring, that you cannot go to your examination room without knowing the answers to these themes. So pay attention, pay 100% of your attention, right? Theme 3, Mukesh, the dream of freedom. Now theme 3, we have come to the next story. What is the next story? The protagonist is Mukesh. And what is his dream? The dream of freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from tradition. Remember that traditionally his family is employed in the bangle making industry. But he dreams of becoming a motor mechanic. So that dream itself symbolizes freedom. Freedom from tradition, right? Who is Mukesh? How is he different from the others? How is he different from the others? So, what is the theme? You need to talk about again the dream that he wants to become a motor mechanic. That is why he is different. Why does Mukesh want to become a motor mechanic? Because he wants to break away from the tradition. What obstacles stop Mukesh from achieving his dream? Again, the tradition. You need to talk about the tradition. अब यहाँ पे the answers can be different. क्यों? क्योंकि यहाँ पे you need to actually talk about poverty, you need to talk about tradition as well as the debt, the money. Okay? Then we have the answer points for this theme. What are the answer points? जो भी मैंने अभी बोला वो सब इसमें कवर होगा. क्या है? Mukesh represents courage and desire to break the cycle. What cycle? The cycle of bangle making that is going on in his family from generation to generation, that is passed on from one generation to another. Wants a better identity beyond bangles. And what is that identity that he seeks? Of a motor mechanic. Obstacles. What are the obstacles? See, this is the third question, the answer to the third question, that what are the obstacles? Poverty, tradition, family pressure and lack of education. This is what I said कि tradition के अलावा भी यहाँ पे different answers हो सकते हैं. What are they? Poverty, family pressure is there and also lack of education. He is also someone who is not educated. So of course if you're not educated your options become really limited. तो यहाँ पे भी motor mechanic although he wants to become, but his options are really limited क्योंकि garage भी, the garage that he is aiming for to get the apprentice work, that is also really far away, although he is willing to cover that distance, yet he is determined, symbol of hope inside darkness. So as I said, the garage is very far away and also there are other obstacles in his dream, in achieving his dream, yet we see that he is determined. Okay, let us move forward now. This is something that differentiates him from Sahib, because Sahib accepts his reality in the end of the chapter. He has become a worker at a tea stall, but Mukesh still hopes to be a motor mechanic. So there is a hope that is given to the end of the chapter, in the end of the chapter, when the story of Mukesh ends. थीम 4, exploitation plus child labor. तो ये तो थीम, this theme is a 5 marker theme. अगर ये थीम पूछा जाएगा तो of course it is going to be in a 5 marker question कि analyze the theme of child labor and exploitation in the chapter Lost Spring, right? How are children exploited in Simapuri or Firozabad? So this is the kind of question. What does the chapter reveal about child labor? That it is a result of exploitation or poverty. ये who are the people responsible for their suffering? ये तो मतलब this we have discussed in the summary class. ये हमने डिस्कस किया था summary class में, remember? वो पूरा social trap जो था हमारा, society trap, the trap of society. क्वेश्चन 3 उसमें पूरा डिटेल में मैंने डिस्कस किया हुआ है, दैट द विशियस सर्कल दैट इज क्रिएटेड बाय द middlemen, the bureaucrats, the politicians, the police, or the sahukars. So we have discussed all of that. Now, what are the major points that you need to cover when you are covering, when you are writing an answer for this particular theme? Exploitation plus child labor. So what are the answer points that you need to cover in theme 4? If it comes about exploitation and child labor, you need to cover all these answer points. That children work in unhygienic and unsafe condition, and this is actually true for both the characters, because Mukesh's family or the other people around him are employed in bangle making. तो वो तो हमने पढ़ा ही था कि those are very unsafe and unhygienic conditions. बट इफ यू कंसिडर रैग पिकिंग, तो वो भी कुछ ऐसा हाइजीन एंड सेफ कंडीशंस में वर्किंग नहीं है, राइट? सो रैग पिकिंग इज आल्सो अनहाइजीनिक एंड अनसेफ कंडीशंस. देन मिडलमैन ओनर्स गेन्स प्रॉफिट एंड चिल्ड्रन स्टे पुअर. तो मिडलमैन यहाँ पे ऑफ कोर्स इट इज फॉर मुकेश, क्योंकि हमने वो डिटेल में पढ़ा है. बट ओनर्स यहाँ पे इट इज फॉर टी स्टॉल ओनर साहिब, राइट? सो दे गेन प्रॉफिट्स वेयर एज द चिल्ड्रन स्टे पुअर. So what if, even if the children are employed in child labor, even if they are doing child labor, they do not get ample amount of money in return. Families' helplessness forces children to do child labor. So of course, the child labor is done because, or they are the children are getting employed. They are employed in various places because the family is helpless. They are so poor that they are not able to earn food. That is why they have to employ the kids. Society ignores education and basic rights. So it is not just the fault of the family, the poor family, or the poor parents who are sending the kids to get employment. It is also the fault of the society, the people at large who are accepting these children as workers, isn't it? तो चाहे वो टी स्टॉल ओनर हो, ये उसकी भी गलती है कि वो बच्चे को रख रहा है, राइट? देन चाहे वो ट्रैप ऑफ मिडलमैन हो, चाहे वो डिप्लोमैट्स हो, चाहे वो पॉलिटिशियंस हो, all these people are together responsible as society for keeping these children away from their childhood. Cycle continues because the poor remain powerless. So this we have seen. And what is the cycle that they are talking about? Summary की class miss मत करना. Summary की class में this cycle you need to understand the trap of society. What is the trap? Who are the people involved? You need to know. क्योंकि ये साइकिल अगर आप नहीं लिखेंगे आंसर में, आपके मार्क्स पक्का डिडक्ट होंगे, राइट? वन ऑफ द मेजर इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स ऑफ द चैप्टर. Then we come to the last theme, that is theme 5. Bangle makers tradition as a trap. Why is bangle making called a curse or a trap? Explain the condition of bangle makers in Firozabad. How do traditions and society exploit women and children? So this you need. अब questions कैसे भी बनेंगे, right? Questions तो इस टाइप में अलग अलग तरीके से बन सकते हैं. बट इफ यू टॉक अबाउट द थीम अंडर दीज क्वेश्चंस, तो क्वेश्चंस में जो थीम है मेजर वो यही है कि यू नीड टू टॉक अबाउट बैंगल मेकर्स and the bangle making tradition as a trap. This we need to talk about. So what are the answer points that you need to cover for this particular theme? Generations trapped in the same occupation. Yes, we know that the families in Firozabad, generation by generation, they are trapped in this bangle making tradition. Then they are employed or they work under dark rooms, hot furnaces, and leading to health damage of eyes and lungs. Exploitation is supported by all the categories of people that are there. So whether the middlemen, the politicians, the police, or the sahukars, together they form a vicious trap that the bangle makers are not able to surpass, कि वो उसको क्रॉस ही नहीं कर पा रहे. Tradition becomes chains and not pride. Generally our traditions and customs are a form of pride, isn't it? कि हम लोग ऐसे ही मनाते हैं, कोई भी हम लोग फेस्टिवल जैसे मनाते हैं दिवाली, तो जैसे कि उसमें ट्रेडिशन होता है पूजा करना या फायर क्रैकर्स बर्न करना. These traditions are actually made in order for us to take pride in our culture. लेकिन ये तो एक ऐसा ट्रेडिशन है ऑक्यूपेशन वाला कि it is not a form of pride, it is not a representative of pride, it is rather a burden that they are carrying generation by generation, because this tradition is keeping them economically unstable, economically poor, right? Chalo, now let us. So, Dhurandhar tip for the lesson Lost Spring. Lost Spring is all about these major themes. What are the themes? Poverty leading to exploitation, leading to loss of childhood, and the major thing is dreams versus reality, right? The theme of dreams versus reality. And of course, hope in the case of Mukesh, because we are still hopeful that he will get his job as a motor mechanic. But we have seen Sahib working as a worker under a tea stall owner. So that hope is cancelled in case of Sahib. But yes, still some hope is there in the case of Mukesh. This brings us to the end of the session where we try to learn the major themes that are recurrent in CBSE board examination from the chapter Lost String. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends as much as you can, subscribe to my channel Fiddle, and do not forget to watch the next session of Dhurandhar series in order to become Dhurandhar in CBSE board examination 2026.